Imagine this. It's 1947, and you're standing in a small airport on the west coast of Ireland. The wind howls outside, over the green hills, and rain taps against the windows. Inside, travelers yawn and stretch after a long flight across the Atlantic. You're waiting for your plane to refuel, and you're bored. There's no Wi-Fi, no snacks, no music, just an empty waiting room and the hum of engines. But suddenly, a cheerful man appears with a tray of Irish whiskey, chocolate, and perfume. He says, "Would you like to buy something without paying any tax?" Wait, what? That sounds impossible. But it isn't, because this, believe it or not, is where duty-free shopping began. Welcome to Believe It or Not, the show where weird is real and the truth is stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Bryan, and today's story is about how one clever man at a tiny airport in Ireland turned a boring layover into a billion-dollar idea that changed the way the whole world shops. Back in the 1940s, airplanes couldn't fly as far as they can today. So when travelers flew from America to Europe, they had to stop halfway to refuel. And one of those stops was Shannon Airport in Ireland. The passengers didn't love it. There wasn't much to see or do. They sat, stretched, and stared out the window for hours. But one man, Brendan O'Regan, saw something different. Brendan wasn't a pilot. He wasn't even an engineer. He ran the airport's restaurant and wanted to make travelers' stops more enjoyable. One day, he noticed that people from different countries always complained about high taxes on luxury goods, like whiskey and perfume. That gave him a wild idea. What if travelers could shop between countries in a space that technically didn't belong to any one nation's tax laws? So, in 1947, he set up a small counter at Shannon Airport and called it the Duty-Free Shop. His very first products? Bottles of Irish whiskey, fine perfumes, and chocolates, all sold tax-free. At first, people didn't believe it. There must be a catch, they said. But there wasn't. Brendan explained that because travelers were in international airspace, the usual import and export taxes didn't apply. Soon, passengers were buzzing with excitement. They lined up before their flights, arms full of souvenirs. Even pilots and flight attendants joined the fun, picking up Irish whiskey for their next stop. Before long, word spread around the world. Other airports thought, hey, we should do that too. By the 1950s and 60s, airports everywhere, London, Paris, New York, Tokyo, opened their own duty-free shops. Travelers could suddenly buy luxury goods for much cheaper than at home. It turned airport waiting time into shopping time. And it made Brendan O'Regan's little idea one of the smartest business moves in travel history. And here's a fun fact. O'Regan didn't stop there. He went on to help develop Shannon into one of Ireland's first free trade zones, where companies could import and export goods tax-free. His creativity helped turn a rainy Irish town into a global business hub. And today, duty-free shopping earns over $70 billion every year. And it all started with one man who looked at a boring layover and saw an opportunity instead. Now, here are a few believe it or not facts I found while researching this podcast. Number 1, the world's first duty-free shop opened at Shannon Airport in 1947. Their most popular item? Irish whiskey. Number 2, Brendan O'Regan was only in his 30s when he launched this idea. A young man with a new idea. And finally, number 3. Today, duty-free shops operate in more than 130 countries, selling everything from snacks to supercars. Now, it's your turn to think about our story. Brendan O'Regan's story reminds us that sometimes boredom can lead to brilliance. So think about this. What could you invent to make people's lives easier or more fun? Next, have you ever had a great idea just because you were waiting around? And finally, how can curiosity turn something ordinary into something extraordinary? So, what did we learn today? A clever Irishman turned a boring airport layover into the world's first duty-free shop. And now, travelers everywhere get to shop the skies. And before we wrap things up, here's a little airport joke for you. What happens when you wear a watch on a plane? Time flies. Next time on Believe It or Not, meet Bryan, the Welshman who wanted to go home so badly, he mailed himself across the world. Inside a wooden box. Until then, keep wondering, keep learning, and remember, sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction.